Hi guys! So our topic in this video is about leases. Okay? Now, when we talk about leases, see to it, no, that the standard applicable here is IFRS number 16. Okay? Now, when we talk about lease, simple lang naman to, no? Ang ibig lang naman sabihin nito is that the lessor is giving another party, which is yung tinatawag nating lessee, okay, the right to use, again, the right to use its asset or an underlying asset, okay, in exchange for a consideration, which is yung tinatawag natin na lease payments, okay? So, merong asset dito, no? Si lessor, bibigyan niya ng right to use si lessee, okay, of course, para gamitin yung asset na yon in exchange for what we call the lease payments, okay? So, basically, ganyan lang naman yung nangyayari sa lease. Now, meron tayong dalawang klase, no, ng leases. Okay? What are the two kinds? Again, what are the two kinds of lease? Okay? Now, when we talk about the two kinds of lease, the first one, no, is what we call the operating lease. Okay? Now, when we talk about operating lease, see to it that there is no substantial transfer. Again, here, there is no substantial transfer of risk and rewards of ownership. Meaning to say, no, in an operating lease transaction, the owner, again, the owner, is still the lessor. Because in an operating lease transaction, well, rent transaction lang naman to. So for that reason, if it's just a rent transaction, the lessor now, no, will just recognize what we call rent income, okay? Wherein the lessee will recognize, no, rent expense. Alright? So, ganun lang naman kasimple kapag operating lease. Okay? Now, punta tayo sa pangalawa, no? The second kind of lease is what we call the finance lease transaction naman. Okay? Now, when we talk about finance lease, see to it here, no, that there is actually substantial transfer. Again here, no, there is substantial transfer of risk and rewards of ownership. Ibig sabihin, if there is substantial transfer of risk and rewards of ownership, even though in form, again even though in form, this is just a rent transaction, see to it that in substance, we will not treat this, no, as a rent transaction. Well, in substance, okay, this is actually a sale transaction. Wherein, if it is a sale transaction, see to it now, no, that the lease payments are actually considered as installment payments. Okay? So, yung mga lease payments na nangyayari dito, no, tinitreat natin yung mga yon as installment payments. Because we all know that here in accounting, we always favor the substance, no, over the legal form of a transaction. Okay? So, kapag finance lease tayo, hindi na to simpleng rent transaction lang, sale na yan. Okay? Now, apparently, kailangan nating pag-usapan, no, both the point of view of the lessor and the point of view of the lessee. So, pareho natin silang pag-uusapan in this series of lectures. Okay? Start tayo, no, sa point of view ni lessee. So, lalagay ko dito, no, lessee accounting. Now, sa point of view ni lessee, according to the problem, no, the lessee should recognize, no, again, the lessee should recognize, okay, what we call, okay, the right of used asset, again, right of used asset, and apparently, the lessee, okay, in accounting for its leases should also recognize what we call lease liability, alright? So, according to the standard, whenever, okay, a certain company or a certain entity, no, is leasing a particular asset from a lessor, dapat daw mag-recognize siya ng right of use asset and lease liability. So for that reason, as a general rule now, again, as a general rule, the lessee should account for all leases under the finance lease accounting. Okay? So, ibig sabihin ngayon, generally speaking, kapag lessee tayo, dapat, no, lagi nating ina-account yung mga leases under finance lease. Okay? But don't get it wrong. there are actually two exceptions to the general rule wherein kapag pumasok tayo sa any of the exceptions, we are permitted to use, okay, the operating list accounting. Now, take note of the word permitted. Ibig sabihin ng word na permitted, well, okay, kapag given yung isa, kahit isa lang, no, sa dalawang exceptions na to, pwede tayong gumamit ng operating list. But it does not necessarily mean na automatically operating list na. Kahit na present, no, yung isa sa dalawang to, pwede pa rin tayong mag-finance list. Okay? It's like, kapag given or present, kahit isa sa dalawang to, binibigyan natin, no, ng option si lessee na gamitin, whether finance list or operating list. Pero hindi siya automatically operating list. Of course, kapag wala naman sa problem, no, etong dalawang ito, automatically finance list tayo. Okay? Now, ano itong dalawang transactions na to? Number 1 is yung tinatawag natin na short-term lease. Again, number 1 is yung tinatawag natin na short-term lease. So when we talk about short-term lease, it's actually, no, a lease transaction for a period of 1 year or less. So kapag ang re-rentahan natin, no, again, kapag ang re-rentahan nating property or asset, okay, is only for a period of 1 year or less, then that is short-term lease. So kapag may short-term lease lang naman tayo, no, pwede nating gamitin si operating lease accounting. Okay? Now, ano yung pangalawa? Yung pangalawang exception is yung tinatawag naman natin, no, na low value asset. Now, when we talk about low value asset, ibig sabihin lang yan, mababa lang yung presyo ng asset, okay, na nirerentahan natin. So, if mababa lang, no, yung price ng asset na nirerentahan natin, once again, we are permitted to use the operating lease accounting. Okay? So, linawin ko lang, maraming nagkakamali dito Akala ng mga estudyante, well, kapag present kahit isa sa dalawang to automatically operating, hindi ganon. Well, ulitin ko lang, klaruhin natin kapag present kahit isa lang sa dalawang to, hindi siya automatically operating. Okay? It means, okay, that, okay, the lessee is permitted to use only the operating list. Meaning to say, no, pwede nating gamitin si operating. But it does not necessarily mean na mag-operating na tayo. Okay? Now, okay, since finance list naman, no, generally speaking, okay, ang problema natin dito, magfo-focus lang ngayon tayo, no, sa finance list accounting. Because apparently, no, even, okay, in the licensure examination, kapag lessee ang pinag-uusapan, finance list lang yan. Okay? Now, under finance list accounting, once again, no, meron tayong dalawang i-recognize. Lease liability and the right of use asset. So, start tayo, no, sa lease liability. Again, let's start with the lease liability. Okay? Now, with regard to the lease liability, kailangan muna nating malaman, no, what is the initial measurement. Okay? Now, when we talk about the initial measurement of lease liability, this is actually just equal, no, to the present value of the minimum lease payments. Again, the initial measurement of lease liability is actually the present value of the minimum lease payment. Okay? Now, kailangan muna nating malaman, no, ano ba yung laman ng minimum lease payments natin. Okay? So, itong minimum lease payments natin, meron niyang 5 laman. 5 lang naman, no? Madali lang tandaan. Okay? Number 1 is yung tinatawag natin na fixed lease payments. Okay? Now, kapag sinabi nating fixed lease payments, from the term itself, it means that the annual or even the semi-annual lease payment is the same. Ibig sabihin, hindi na magbabago yan. Let's say, for example, 1 million annually. So, hindi nagbabago, no, yung 1 million na yan. Okay? Yung pangalawa naman, no, is yung tinatawag natin na variable lease payments. So, here in the variable lease payments, see to it, no, nakabaliktaran lang yan ng fixed lease payment. Kapag sinabi nating variable lease payments, it means that every year, no, possibly, pabago-bago yung babayaran natin. Let's say, for example, for the next, okay, or for the first 3 years, 100K muna. And then, in the next 2 years, magiging 500,000, something like that. So, if hindi na fix ang binabayaran natin, no, every period, edi variable list payments na yon. Okay? Now, take note na yung number 1 and number 2, naka-or ito ha. Again, naka-or yan. Kasi imposible naman, no, na parehong fixed and variable list payment tayo. Either lang yan. Okay? Now, what's the third one? The third one, no, is what we call the option. Okay, price. Again, here, no, meron tayong tinatawag na option price. Now, what is option price? Well, when we talk about option price, this is actually the price that we will pay just in case we decided to exercise the right to purchase the asset at the end of the lease term. Because apparently, no, sometimes, binibigyan tayo ng kay option. Anong ibig sabihin ng option? Option is a right, not an obligation ha. Right to buy the leased asset at the end of the lease term. Ibig sabihin, it's up to us kung bibilhin natin yung asset or hindi. Okay? Now, if napag-decidean natin, no, na bibilhin natin yung asset, see to it, no, na yung ibabayad natin para bilhin yung asset, yun yung tinatawag natin na option price. Okay? Again ha, yun yung tinatawag natin na option price. Okay? Now, hear me out. Napakahalaga nito, no? Always remember that option price, again ha, option price is only, okay, considered if and only if, okay, it is probable that the option will be exercised. Ulitin ko ha, option price will only be part of our minimum list payments if, okay, and only if, okay, the option is probable to be exercised by the company. Because apparently, no, if according to the problem, it is not probable that the option will be exercised, edi wag mo nang isama yung option price. Kasi, if it is probable that the option will not be exercised, edi wala naman tayong babayaran na option price at the end of the lease term. Sinasama lang naman natin itong option price na to, no? Because, okay, ang ine-expect natin is at the end of the lease term, meron pa tayo ulit babayaran, which is the option price nga. Okay? So, for the last time, gusto ko clear to. Option price is only considered if it is probable that the option will be exercised. Clear ba tayo doon? Alright, now, before ko i-continue, no, yung discussion natin ng MLP, nasa pang-apat na tayo, no? Segue muna ulit tayo dito sa part na to ng board. See to it, no, that there are actually 2 scenarios here na gusto kong malaman mo. Okay? So, what are the 2 scenarios? Okay? The first scenario, again, the first scenario, no, is yung tinatawag natin na transfer of ownership. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Well, ang ibig lang naman sabihin yan, at the end of the lease term, okay, the asset or the ownership with regard to the leased asset will now be transferred to the lessee. Okay? Because it's possible na meron din silang stipulation na ganon. So if there is a stipulation in the contract that at the end of the lease term, no, okay, si lessee na yung may-ari, okay, nung asset, then automatically pasok tayo, no, sa first scenario. Okay? What is the second scenario? Nabanggit ko na kanina, no? Option to purchase, again, option to purchase the leased asset. So it's also possible, no, na hindi automatic yung transfer of ownership. Dito sa option to purchase, it's up to us kung bibilhin natin or hindi. Okay? Now, I want you to remember these 2 scenarios because apparently, no, when we are dealing with lessee accounting, ang posibleng mangyari is that either, again, possible, no, na either or either, okay, is present, okay, and then later on din naman, no, possible that neither is present. Dito muna tayo sa either or either is present. Okay? Now, see to it that if either is present, okay, the expectation is that the asset, again here, no, the expectation is that the asset will no longer, again, will no longer, okay, be reverted. No longer be reverted back, okay, to the lessor. Ibig sabihin ngayon, if either of the two is present in the problem, okay, dapat no, lagi mong tatandaan na yung leased asset, hindi na yun ibabalik pa kay lessor. Worded in another way, even at the end of the lease term, wala nang balikang magaganap pa. At the end of the lease term, okay, the possession will remain, okay, in the lessee. Okay? Ibig sabihin, no, hindi na yan ibabalik pa. Clear ba tayo doon? So kapag may transfer of ownership or option to purchase, the expectation is that the asset will no longer be reverted back to the lessor. Alright? Now, what if, okay, neither is present? Again, what if neither is present? Okay? See to it that if neither is present naman, the expectation, no, is that the asset, again, the asset will be, again, the asset will be reverted back, again, will be reverted back to the lessor. Ibig sabihin ngayon, the lessee only has the lease term to use the asset. At the end of the lease term, if neither is present, our expectation is that the lessee, no, will revert back the leased asset to the lessor. Ibabalik ni lessee yung leased asset kay lessor. Okay? Now, in-skip ko yung discussion natin kanina at pumunta muna ako dito because apparently, if neither is present, meron tayong kailangan gawin dito. Now, before ko explain to, remember what happened last time. Okay? Well, okay, way back 2024, no? Okay? May nabalitaan ako sa TikTok eh. Okay? Now, apparently, merong isang place, no? Okay, na nasa Airbnb. And then apparently, this group of friends rented, okay, that Airbnb of a certain entity. Now, apparently, nagstay sila doon. Party-party sila. May CCTV, by the way. Kaso, ito yung nangyari. Bago umalis, itong group of friends na to, no? Okay, sinira nila yung lugar. Apparently, ang ginawa nila, no, hinulog nila sa pool lahat ng gamit na nakita nila. Okay, microwave oven, water dispenser, pati yung mga upuan. Dinatnan na lang yun nung may-ari na nasa pool na. In short, maraming nasira. Maliwanag ba? So for that reason now, okay, minsan yung mga lessor, no, natatakot na silang magparenta. Because if it is expected that the asset, no, will be reverted back to the lessor, what if hindi alagaan ni lessee yung asset na yan? Okay? Yun yung iniisip ngayon ng mga lessor, no? Okay? What if si lessee, sirain niya yung asset ko? Okay? At hindi na niya yan ibalik ng tama sa atin. So for that reason, see to it now that if neither is present, okay, sometimes, no, meron tayong tinatawag na residual value guarantee. Okay? So what is residual value guarantee? Well, kapag sinabi nating residual value guarantee, it means, okay, that the lessee is promising something, no, to the lessor. Sir, ano yung pinapromise ni lessee? Well, si lessee, pinapromise lang naman niya that this will be the value of the asset once the asset, no, is reverted back to the lessor. Sasabihin ni lessee, lessor promise, kapag binalik ko sa'yo yung asset mo, 100K pa yung value na yan. Okay? So if the value was guaranteed by the lessee, we call that residual value guarantee. Again, we call that as residual value guarantee. Okay? Now, see to it, okay, that here, no, meron tayong additional problem. What is that? Well, at the end of the lease term, no, again, at the end of the lease term, okay, see to it that this residual value guarantee, no, again, this residual value guarantee will have to be compared with the actual fair value of the asset. Okay? Siyempre, maninigurado si lessor. Hindi lang yan basta-basta promise, no? Okay? Now, see to it that if, let's say, for example, no, the RVG or the promise of the lessee is 120, Yet, okay, the actual fair value of the asset is only equal to 100. Anong mangyayari dito? Well, syempre, no? Okay, hindi papayag si lessor. Bakit naman? Because apparently, sasabihin ni lessor, Hoy, lessee, 120 ang pangako mo sa akin, ah. Bakit nung binabalik mo 100 na lang? Hindi pwedeng ganyan. So if that will be the case, the lessee will make an additional payment now equal to the difference between the two. Okay? So ibig sabihin ngayon, the 20 here, which is the difference between the RVG and actual fair value, will be paid by the lessee to the lessor. And since additional payment itong 20 ngayon na to, it will be considered as a loss. Again, that 20,000 will now be considered as a loss. Bakit siya loss? Kasi, okay, well, nagbayad tayo additionally. Okay? Now, apparently, if ang pangako natin is 120, then sobra nating inalagaan yung asset. Sa sobrang pag-aalaga natin, yung actual fair value niya naging 150. If that will be the case, pwede ba nating singilin si lessor? Pwede ba nating sabihin ganito? Lessor, okay, di ba 120 lang yung pangako ko? Eto babalik ko na sa iyo yung asset mo. Sobra kong inalagaan yan, kaya yung fair value niyan 150. So with that, bayaran mo ako ng 30. Pwede ba yon? Of course not. Hindi papayag si lessor. Ibig sabihin, if the RVG is lower than the actual fair value, always remember that there will be no gain to be recognized. Okay? So kapag yung actual fair value mas mababa, may loss. Pero kapag yung actual fair value mas mataas, we cannot recognize a gain. Because hindi naman magbabayad si lessor sa atin eh. Okay? So always remember this ha. Normally kasi kulang yung alam ng mga estudyante pagdating sa list accounting. So, ang goal natin for today's discussion makumpleto lahat yan. Okay? So hopefully okay pa tayo ha hanggang dito. Now, balik tayo doon. Okay? But before tayo bumalik doon, last na lang. Kailan ulit nga tayo nagkakaroon ng residual value guarantee? Nagkakaroon lang tayo ng residual value guarantee if and only if either is present. If present yung transfer of ownership or option to purchase, automatically we have to ignore any residual value guarantee because we don't need to guarantee the residual value or the value of the asset at the end of the lease term if either is present. Why do you need to make a promise to the lessor if wala naman ng balikang magaganap? Okay? So kapag neither is present, dun lang relevant si residual value guarantee. Okay? So for that reason, see to it now that the fourth item here is yung tinatawag natin na residual value guarantee. Again, the fourth item here in our minimum list payment is the residual value guarantee. Pero sabi ko nga kanina hindi pwedeng mag-exist yung option at saka yung residual value guarantee. So once again, naka-or lang yan. Okay? So kapag may option, automatically wala ng residual value guarantee. Now, ito yung tatandaan mo. Kapag may transfer of ownership, wala ka nang kailangan pang i-consider. Kasi for sure, walang option and wala ring RVG. Okay? Kapag may option, automatically ignore din to. So, kailan lang to i-recognize? Kapag walang transfer of ownership and at the same time, walang option. Okay? Now, the last one, is what we call the termination penalties. Again, the last one, is yung tinatawag naman natin na termination penalties. Okay? Termination penalties from the term itself, ito lang naman, yung mga penalties na kailangan nating bayaran because we pre-terminate the contract. Meaning to say, nagkaroon kasi dito ng breach of contract and if there will be breach of contract, normally meron na tayong mga hindi nare-recover. It's, very normal, for a lease transaction na meron tayong babayaran na security deposit. Okay? Now, yung security deposit na yon kapag binreach natin yung kontrata, hindi natin tinapos yung lease term, automatically hindi na natin marirecover pa yan. Okay? So, for that reason, yung unrecovered security deposit, it will now be considered as termination penalties. Okay? Now, see to it, na wala akong nilagay dito, na refundable security deposit. That is because refundable security deposit from the term itself, it is expected, to be received by the lessee at the end of lease term. Ibig sabihin, ibabalik kasi yan sa atin. So, kung ibabalik yan sa atin, it cannot be considered as a lease payment. Okay? So, refundable security deposit, is not part of our MLP. 5 lang ang laman ng MLP natin. Fixed lease payment, variable lease payment, option price, okay, residual value guarantee, and termination penalties. Okay? So, balik tayo sa initial measurement. What's the initial measurement? Present value of the minimum lease payment. Okay? Now, the next question here, is kung ano ba yung rate? Ano ba yung rate na gagamitin natin in computing the present value factors? Okay? Now, of course, yung rate na gagamitin natin dito will be based on the following in the order of priority. Again, the rate that we're gonna use is based on the following in the order of priority. Ano nga ulit ibig sabihin ng order of priority? Ibig lang naman sabihin yan, hindi natin pwedeng gamitin si number 2 unless number 1 is not given. If given silang pareho, well, definitely, number 1 is our priority. Okay? So, ano yung number 1 sa priority natin? Number 1, in our priority is yung tinatawag natin na implicit rate in the lease. Okay? Which should be known to the lessee. Okay? Now, if there is no implicit rate given in the problem, pupunta tayo sa number 2. Ano yung number 2? Number 2 is yung tinatawag natin na incremental borrowing rate of the lessee. Okay? So, see to it that the incremental borrowing rate, will only be used if and only if the implicit rate is not given in the problem. Okay? Now, okay na tayo, sa initial measurement. So, punta ngayon tayo dito, sa ating subsequent measurement. What is the subsequent measurement of the lease liability? Well, always remember that carrying amount at the end is actually just equal to the carrying amount at the beginning minus the principal repayment. Again, minus the principal repayment. Ibig sabihin ngayon yan, hindi lahat ng lease payment natin nag-a-apply sa principal. Portion of the lease payment will be applied first to interest. So, paano natin ito nako-compute? Madali lang. Lease payment, again, lease payment, minus interest expense. Okay? So, how do we compute interest expense? Madali lang din. It's just equal to the carrying amount at the beginning, of course, times the rate that we have used in computing the present value. So, if yung rate na ginamit mo dito, is implicit rate, the implicit rate ang gagamitin natin doon. If wala si implicit rate at ang ginamit natin, is the incremental borrowing rate, the incremental borrowing rate ang gagamitin natin, dito sa computation ng interest expense. Okay? Now, remember, nung nagdi-discuss tayo, ng receivables and investment. Nung nagdi-discuss tayo ng receivables at investment, anong sabi ko sa inyo, guys? Sabi ko sa inyo, as long as nagdi-discount tayo to present value at gumagamit tayo ng effective interest method, yung SORIA notes natin applicable. Tama ba? So, ibig sabihin ngayon, in computing the subsequent measurement of the lease liability, the SORIA notes, that we have is applicable. Okay? Ano nga ulit yung SORIA notes natin? Well, carrying amount at the end is equal, to the carrying amount at the beginning times 1 point effective rate. Well, in this case, effective rate will either be the implicit rate or incremental borrowing rate, then minus the payments. Of course, the payments here, no, will be the lease payments. So later on, no, ipoprove natin na itong SORYA notes na to, applicable yan even here in leases. Okay? So that's the initial measurement and subsequent measurement of lease liability. Okay? So that's the first account, no, that we need to know how to recognize. Okay? So balik tayo sa sinasabi ni IFRS 16. Ano nga ulit sabi ni IFRS 16? Lessee should recognize right of use asset and lease liability. So ang nadidiscuss pa lang natin, no, is lease liability. So punta ngayon tayo doon sa isa pa. Ano yung isa pa? The other one is yung tinatawag natin, no, na right of use asset. Again, meron din tayong tinatawag na right of use asset. Now, when we talk about right of use asset, see to it, no? Okay, see to it that its initial measurement will actually just be equal to cost. Again, our initial measurement here is only equal to cost. Okay? Now, when we talk about cost, syempre, dapat alam natin, no, ano yung laman ng cost na yan. Well, itong cost na to, 5 lang din yung laman yan. Para madaling tandaan, no, tig-5 lang naman sila. Okay? So, number 1 component of cost is actually the initial measurement of lease liability. Ibig sabihin ngayon dito, no, kapag nagkamali tayo sa lease liability, automatically mali ka na rin sa right of use asset. Because the first component of cost is the initial measurement of lease liability. Okay? The second component of cost here, no, are the directly or initial direct cost rather. Okay? The second component of cost is yung tinatawag natin na initial direct cost. Of course, you have to remember, paid by the lessee. Siyempre, bago yan makonsider, no, na part ng cost, dapat si lessee yung nagbayad niyan. If the initial direct costs are paid by the lessor, edi hindi yan kasama. Okay? The third one, no, is yung tinatawag naman natin na lease bonus. Now, ano tong lease bonus na to? Well, lease bonus, yan lang naman, no, yung pina-arting term sa padulas. Because ganito yan. Let's say, for example, sobrang ganda nung property, no? Again, sobrang ganda nung property. If sobrang ganda nung property na yan, syempre, maraming gustong mag-lease dyan. Tama ba? So, sino ngayon yung pipiliin ni lessor? Tingin mo. Syempre, ang pipiliin ni lessor is yung may extrang bayad, yung may padulas. Tama ba? Now, apparently, alam yan ni IFRS 16. That is why IFRS 16 included the lease bonus in the computation of the cost of the right of use asset. So what is a lease bonus now? When we talk about lease bonus, this is actually the additional payment made by the lessee to the lessor in order to obtain the lease. Again, lease bonus is the additional payment made by the lessee to the lessor in order to obtain the lease. Napakaganda ng definition, no? Pero kung tatagalugin mo, yan lang naman yung additional na bayad na ginawa ni lessee, no? Para siya yung piliin ni lessor. In short, padulas. Tama ba? So kapag may additional payment, kasama yon. Okay? Now, always remember na lahat nung cost natin ina-add except sa pang-apat. Okay? Kasi yung pang-apat, dinideduct yan. Again, lahat ina-add except dun sa pang-apat. Kasi yung pang-apat, dinideduct yan. Now, ano yung pang-apat? Yung pang-apat dito, no, is yung tinatawag natin na lease incentives. Again, yung pang-apat is yung tinatawag natin, no, na lease incentives. What are lease incentives? Well, when we talk about lease incentives, these are actually, no, the reimbursement made by the lessor with regard to the cost incurred by the lessee. Because minsan, no, si lessor mabait. Sabi ni lessor, uy, lessee, okay, i-reimburse ko yung iba mong ginastos. If that's the case, tayo as the lessee ang naka-receive ng cash. So if tayo yung naka-receive, hindi mo dapat i-add yan sa cost natin. Because lahat ng to ginagastos natin eh. So leased incentives now should be deducted in the computation of cost. Clear? Then the last one, no, is yung tinatawag natin na dismantling cost. Again, dismantling cost. Okay? Cost of removing the asset. Again, cost of removing the asset. Okay? And, okay, restoration cost or restoring the site, okay, where it is located. Okay? Now, apparently, common naman to, no? Kapag PPE, yung pinag-uusapan natin. Remember, in property, plant, and equipment, kasama din yan. Now, anong naaalala mo nung nag-discuss tayo ng PPE? Sabi ko sa inyo, di ba? If meron tayong dismantling cost, cost of removing the asset, and restoration cost, since mai-incur lang yan at the end of the life of the PPE, well, in this case, at the end of the lease term, this last component of cost now, no, should be discounted to present value. Again, this last component of cost, should be discounted to present value. So, lahat ng to, no, yung unang apat, hindi naman yan dinidiscount. Pero yung panglima, kailangan nating i-discount to present value. Okay? So, those are the 5 components of cost. So, madali lang naman, di ba? Yung lease accounting, ang daming natatakot dito. Pero kung i-imaginein mo, no, parang madali lang naman as long as gets mo, no, lahat ng nangyayari. Okay? Now, after talking about the initial measurement, punta ngayon tayo, no, sa subsequent measurement, okay, of the right of use asset. See to it, no, that our subsequent measurement or yung tinatawag natin, no, na carrying amount at the end is actually just equal to the cost minus accumulated depreciation, then minus accumulated impairment losses. Ibig sabihin, no, kamukhang-kamukha lang yan yung cost model natin sa PPE. Okay? Now, always remember that this is just the general rule. Meaning to say, no, we can also use the revaluation model and actually pati yung fair value model. Pero kailan yun ginagamit? Kinig ka ng mabuti. Revaluation model can be used if, okay, the leased asset, no, is included in the class of PPE wherein, okay, itong class of PPE na to, mini-measure natin under the revaluation model. Remember in PPE, sabi natin, di ba? We apply the cost model and the revaluation model per class. Anong ibig sabihin ng per class? If yung isang equipment mo naka-cost model, dapat lahat ng equipment mo naka-cost model. If yung isang building mo naka-revaluation model, dapat lahat ng building mo naka-revaluation model. So kapag yung nilease natin na asset, no, included dun sa class na mini-measure natin under revaluation model, pwede, hindi automatic pwede nating gamitin. We are permitted to use the revaluation model. Clear? Now, kailan naman natin pwedeng gamitin si fair value model? Okay? Fair value model can be used if the leased asset is in compliance, no, with the definition of an investment property under IAS 40. How did we define an investment property ba under IAS 40? Sabi natin nung nag-discuss tayo ng investment property, an investment property, okay, is land or building or part of a building or both, no? Okay, that is held by an owner or a lessee under finance lease. Okay, ano pa? That is held for long-term capital appreciation or rentals to others. So kapag yung nirelease natin, no, na property is either land or building, and then apparently, no, okay, what we did is, okay, we rented it out to others or, okay, nilease natin yan for capital appreciation, pwede. Not automatic ulit, Pwede lang. We are permitted to use the fair value model. Okay? So, yung revaluation model at fair value model, once again, hindi sila automatic, Permitted lang tayong gamitin yung mga yon if pumasok siya dun sa mga requisites na binanggit ko kanina. Maliwanag ba? Now, apparently, generally speaking, cost model lang naman to. So, kay majority naman no, ng mga problems na nasagutan ko na about leases, cost model lang. Because yung revaluation model, mamimit mo yan sa PPE na. Hindi naman nila pinaghahalo-halo to Yung fair value model, mamimit mo naman yun no, sa investment property na. Okay? Now, konting review lang. How do we compute accumulated depreciation? Well, to compute that one, dapat alam muna natin no, how to compute what we call the annual depreciation. Again, dapat alam natin no, paano ba i-compute yung annual depreciation? Well, apparently, depende sa method. Tama naman yun, no? Depende sa depreciation method na ginagamit natin. Okay? But here's my question. If the problem is silent, anong method na nga ulit yung ginagamit natin? If the problem is silent, di ba? We are using the straight line method. And under the straight line method, how do we compute this? It's just equal to cost minus residual value, again, minus residual value, and then divided by, okay, the useful life in terms of the number of years. Again, divided by the useful life in terms of years. Okay? Ganyan lang naman yan kadali. Tama ba? But take note, not so fast. Meron ka pang mga binabantayan dito. Remember a while ago, meron tayong dalawang scenarios at ang possible na mangyari is that either is present or neither is present. Okay? So, start tayo sa residual value. Take note, no, that if what we are talking about is residual value and then either is present, ibig sabihin, okay, well, either meron tayong transfer of ownership or may option to purchase. If that's the case, ano nga ulit? Yung asset hindi na ibabalik pa, tama ba? The asset will no longer be reverted back to, okay, the lessor. So for that reason, if either is present, the residual value no, that we're gonna use is the residual value at the end of, okay, the useful life of the leased asset. Again, if either is present, ang gagamitin nating residual value is the residual value at the end of the useful life of the asset. Because tayo na yung gagamit niyan even after the lease term. Hanggang sa end ng buhay ng asset na yan, no, tayo na yung gagamit. Okay? Now, what if neither is present? Again, what if neither is present? See to it that if neither is present, ano nga ulit mangyayari? Anong expectation natin? If neither is present, the asset is expected to be reverted back to the lessor. Ibabalik natin yung asset kay lessor. Ibig sabihin, hanggang kailan lang natin magagamit yung asset? The asset can only be used, okay, over the lease term. Tama? So apparently now, yung residual value no, na dapat nating ginagamit dito is only the residual value at the end of the lease term. What is the value ba? Promised by the lessee, okay, at the end of the lease term. Ano yung value na pinramis ni lessee at the end of the lease term? That is the residual value guarantee. Tama ba? So if neither is present, ang gagamitin natin ditong residual value is the residual value guarantee. Okay? So with regard to the residual value, if either is present, RV at the end of the useful life ang ginagamit. But if the residual, if neither is present, ang gagamitin nating residual value is the residual value guarantee. Clear? Now, before we continue yung discussion natin dito, nakalimutan kong banggitin kanina, no? Just in case meron tayong residual value and guarantee, again kapag meron tayong residual value and guarantee, lagi mong tatandaan that residual value and guarantee is actually just ignored. Okay? Wala naman akong sinulat dito, no? Na residual value and guarantee. So just in case meron kang nakitang residual value and guarantee sa problem, automatically wag kang magpapalin lang. That residual value and guaranteed will just be ignored. Okay? Now, going back, in the computation of annual depreciation. Punta naman tayo no, sa denominator. Kasi sa cost, okay na tayo eh. Ito lang yung cost, tama? Ito lang naman yung cost na yan eh. So, same lang siya dito. Alright? Now, punta tayo sa useful life na gagamitin. Okay? Kailangan muna ulit nating tignan whether either is present or neither is present. So, punta muna tayo dun sa una. What if either is present? So, if either is present, see to it, no? Okay, na ano nga ulit mangyayari dito? If either is present, the asset will no longer be reverted back to the lessor. So, for that reason, ang gagamitin nating denominator dito should be the useful life of the asset. Again, ang ginagamit natin dito will be the useful life. Alright? Now, what if, again, what if, no? Neither, again, what if neither is present? Kapag neither is present, ano nga ulit ang usapan natin kanina? Ang usapan natin kanina, the asset will be reverted back to the lessor. Ibabalik natin yung asset kay lessor. Tama ba? So if that's the case, even if the useful life is 10 years, if the lease term is only 6 years, 6 years lang natin magagamit yung asset. Tama ba? So, ibig sabihin ngayon, dapat yung right of use asset, i-depreciate lang natin over 6 years. So, if neither is present, ito yung tatandaan mo. If neither is present, okay, the useful life or the denominator here will actually be the lower. Again, it will be the lower between the useful life and the lease term. Again if neither is present, anong denominator natin? Our denominator is the lower between the useful life and the lease term. Okay? So that is the initial and subsequent measurement of right of use asset. Okay? Actually, those are everything that you need to remember and you need to know with regard to lessee accounting. Okay? O diba? Ang dali lang naman ng lease. Ang daming nahihirapan dito eh. Okay? Pero kapag na-gets mo lahat ng kwento, tama ba? Okay? Madali lang naman itong topic na to. Okay?